Is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our June Florida Broker Roundtable on staying involved with your local association, hosted by our Florida broker, Robert Milligan. Before we begin, I want to remind you all of a tool that we have here at Allison James, our agent referral map. By going to AJI University and clicking on the Referrals tab down here at the bottom, you will find our agent referral map, which was created for you to find other Allison James agents out of your area who you can refer clients to. By using the search bar up at the top, you can search for any specific area and it will bring up all the agents in that area. You can also zoom into the map into certain areas to see which agents are near there as well. Keep in mind that this is an opt-in only. The only information on here will be your name, your street name, city, phone number, and email address. If you have not opted in and would like to, please go ahead and email us at support@ajicorporate.com. With that being said, I would now like to pass it over to our wonderful broker, Robert Milligan. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Tori. Thank you for having me, and good afternoon to those of you that are tuning in on the East Coast right now. And just looking forward to this time. I always like, having this chance monthly to get together and hopefully go over some things that are useful and helpful to you. And we always love to have your feedback and input, and there's always a time for questions and answers at the end if you'd like. But what I wanted to talk a little bit about today are some ways to stay involved and to benefit from your local association of realtors. And it's an interesting topic because some realtors are very actively involved and others are, they just don't quite understand yet what the benefits and the value proposition is to being involved in the association. And that was definitely me at first. This is my 17th year as a realtor. And like many realtors, maybe if you're listening now, I did not engage with their local association very much. I honestly, at the beginning, I just thought that it was a necessary evil to get on the MLS and get my lockbox key. Didn't really see the value beyond that too much, but there was, after a bit of time went by, after about 10 years in the industry, a good friend of mine kind of tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to get involved and do some kind of light committee work, which that did intrigue me because at that point, after being in this business about 10 years, I had enjoyed a lot of success in this industry, and I wanted to explore possible ways that I could give back to the industry and see, what it is more that the local association is really all about. And what I learned was actually quite surprising. It's been a very rewarding experience for me, and I look forward to sharing some of that experience because, we all have a limited amount of time. Time is our most precious non-renewable resource that we all have. And so, for me, like you, I'm sure it's a thoughtful decision. If I'm going to devote any time to anything, I want to, see that it's something that supports my overall vision of what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go with my life. And, there's not that many organizations that I feel warrant a giant amount of my own time, at least. And there's a couple locally that I get involved in, but definitely that's something that I think everyone benefits from, whatever you're passionate about, whatever supports your goals for your life. It is an enriching and rewarding experience to give back a little bit. So I've been involved, just to give you a little bit of a background of some of the things that I've been able to do. And again, this is just a little snapshot of my personal experience. There are so many committees, so many things that you can do to become involved in local association. And of course, it takes all different types of people, personalities, different levels of commitment, different levels of time. So it's just kind of a matter of taking it slow. If you do decide that you want to get involved and seeing where the needs are, seeing what kind of tasks and projects that there are, because there are some things that, really grateful that there are other people volunteering to do that just don't match my personality and things that I enjoy. And then of course, there's other things that I've found that I feel like I can add value and do a really great job with, and definitely feels more rewarding if I'm doing things that I generally enjoy. So some of the things that I've been involved in over the years is each year our association, I'm sure yours probably does as well, we have a strategic planning session that's an all-day event. I've done that for a few years, and also have been able to serve on the board as a director for a couple of years now, which is also very interesting, very rewarding work, just to help give better perspective of what our association is all about. over the years, I've also done some committee work. We have a YPN committee, which is the Young Professional Network is what it's called, and that's something that is available as a resource for realtors that are 40 years old and under. And also we have affiliate business partners that, lenders, title companies, inspectors, various business partners of the association that are also enabled to get involved in these committees. So that, for me, YPN was something that I was really passionate about, because I started in this industry when I was 19 years old, and I really didn't have a great launch. I really didn't have a great resource that I could get good information and feel confident that I could get access to quick answers if I needed them. And so feeling like that was a definite lack in my own career when I was starting out. I feel like we've done a good job of being a resource for the younger professionals, the newer realtors in the industry. So that was something that worked out really good. I also joined a realtor attorney joint committee, which has been valuable for me and ultimately for you guys as well, because we review the FAR bar contract and we discuss what recommendations that we would like to the Florida Association of Realtors in terms of modifying the FAR bar contract. So that is obviously something that just spending that time in the contract, and as a broker, I've been around this contract a while. I've watched the evolution of it, but just kind of digging deep and talking about pros and cons of the way it's presently structured and making those recommended changes has definitely enhanced my knowledge of the contract, which ultimately benefits myself and all of you if you're one of the brokers that are aligned with us at Allison James right now. So it makes me a little sharper when you have a question for me. So and also with the Realtor Attorney Joint Committee, we also talk about the educational events that the association's putting on, and the attorneys that are volunteering to be the instructors at those kind of instructional educational events. So so that there's a lot of great experiences that I've had, and we'll talk about other ways that that this benefits us and different benefits that there are. But of course, in all this committee work, sitting on the board with other people, getting to know other people better, really created some strong relationships that are beneficial in business, and also just really pleasant to have a nice quality of life here in our own community. So, some other things, there's a lot of great events that the association is responsible for. We have 2 big fundraisers each year. A few weeks ago, if you guys follow my Instagram or whatnot, you probably saw a little snapshot of us at a really fun lip sync event. It was kind of like America's Got Talent style. I was one of the judges for the lip sync event, and the people that were performing in the lip sync battle were ridiculous. It was a lot of fun. Raised a lot of money, over $10,000, for a veteran housing association that we decided to support at our local association. And also, a few nights ago on Friday night, I was a blackjack dealer for a big RPAC event, the Realtor Political Action Committee, which that's their big fundraiser for the year, and we had really fun casino night there with that whole crew. So and that was a great time. Brought my wife come out, several of our Allison James realtors come out. We just had a really great evening, having fun, just having a good time, making progress professionally. So. Another thing that's coming up, there's we do shadowing success panel discussions that's put on and facilitated by the YPN network, our young professional network, and they asked me to panel that discussion, where it's great for me because I'm able to guide the conversation and ask really great questions. That way, I feel like that's helpful to get good info for the realtors that decided to come out and attend that event. So, lots of different experiences that I've had and ways to give back, and it definitely helps raise your profile in the community. As a broker, it's a little bit different for me. Of course, the realtors that I'm interacting with, you never know if there's a chance that somebody may choose to want to align with Allison James at some point, which is definitely one of the benefits for me of being involved. But but even if you're not a broker, there are still a lot of benefits to getting involved in the association. So, I've heard, some realtors say that they're not interested in in participating in the association's monthly social events, happy hours, that kind of stuff, because they're not going to sell a house to any of the people there. And I get it, I understand that, but I think that that's also really not the best way to be looking at it, because there is a great chance that you will be negotiating directly with any of these people on behalf of your customers, perhaps repetitively over the years on multiple deals. So to me, it makes sense to just invest a little bit of energy into having warm, cordial relationships with the people that are likely to be on the other side of the transaction, perhaps over and over again, if it's somebody that's in a market that you operate a lot in. And I mean, there's definitely times I can say that just having a friendly relationship with the realtor on the other side of the transaction, it's all things that are appropriate to share, but they're just a little bit more warm and open to sharing information that could help you win the deal to begin with. And then, of course, after you're under contract, it just makes this transaction so much smoother. So, so even if you're not going to sell a house to anybody that's there, I think that there's definitely a benefit to you having those kind of relationships. And then, also people that participate a lot in these kind of events are the business partners that are also affiliate members of the association. So, these are all people that you want to have key relationships with, like good lenders, good attorneys or title companies, or, pest control, pest inspections, regular home inspections, surveys, all these kind of things. A lot of these other affiliate professionals are all there as well. And, sometimes you just never know when you need a quick appraisal or a quick survey or one of those things. And if, if one of these people come to mind as a good pal that you have a relationship with, then, I definitely don't think that there's any problem with that. Definitely helps. So I think that one of the benefits, another benefit is professional recognition. I think that, aside from the relationships that you end up building, you do get good professional recognition. Customers do seem to respond well to the fact that you're supportive and involved with your local association. And it definitely raises your stature in the industry. And so, if you can align with something that feels like it's, something that you enjoy doing and you're having fun and it raises your stature, it helps you win more business, I think that that's something that's definitely a win. I think also you get a lot of special and advanced knowledge is another reason I think it's good to be involved with the association, because there's a lot of different organizations that all interact with one another. And for instance, in our region, and probably, a lot of the people listening in here now are data partners with My Florida Regional MLS. They're responsible for the data for, quite a few, more than a dozen associations. And so it's just interesting to understand how these organizations are positioned, and how you can, know about things that they're doing, things that there are, that could be their future initiatives, things that could definitely create some strategic advantages for you in the future. For me, another big benefit to all of this, work that we do at the association is just having a lot of fun, because, we work really hard. And for me, especially, probably for you as well, it's not easy to separate the work life and fun time. So for me, it's great that we get to have a lot of fun in a professional setting that supports our overall business goals, which to me is a great benefit. So, there's a ton of benefits I could go on and on about, and there's so much different levels and different committees and different, things that people can do to get involved in. So those are just a very few that stick out to me, just kind of scratches the surface. But one thing that people do ask a lot that I did want to spend a little bit of time on is, people ask, what does the association actually do? Because, back to, my initial thought, coming into the industry brand new, I just kind of saw it as this thing that I just really didn't have much of a choice if I wanted to get on the MLS and get a lockbox, and I just didn't understand it much beyond that. So I thought what I'd do is share part of our strategic plan that we worked on last year for our own realtor association, and then just go over some of the things that the association does. And for us, our mission as the Sarasota and Manatee Association of Realtors is to keep the realtor central to the real estate transaction by advancing members' professionalism and expertise while upholding the realtor's code of ethics, where we are committed to protecting private property rights in the communities that we serve. And that's a really big one, is that last statement, that we're committed to protecting private property rights in the communities that we serve. And one thing that I didn't realize initially that I've come to understand now is that RPAC, the Realtor Political Action Committee, is a very, very big part of what we are involved in as the local association. And so we do get involved early in identifying the right candidates that are running for our local offices. We have elections coming up in November, and it's not a political type of a thing. We're not, as an association, we're not, forcing any party down anybody's throat, or, what we're purely looking at is the candidates that are going to be most effective at upholding the private property rights in the communities that we serve. And so as an association, and there's a special committee just for basically identifying and interviewing and reaching out to the candidates in our local associations. And that was part of what we just did recently on Friday night, is we had the local candidates that are running for office coming up. They came to the event that we had, the casino night, and they all had a time to, say a few words and get to know the realtors. And so it's really helpful. There's been examples, for instance, of like I know in one of our barrier islands locally, there was a big taxation and restriction issue with rentals and things of that nature, that at the political level, because we had a friend in that office that was in that district, we could ask them to advocate on our behalf to make sure that the private property rights are preserved, and we're successful in doing so. And even on a bigger level, there was a lot of work being done on sales tax on commercial leases that had a favorable outcome. So it's just great to have an advocacy group that is looking out for not the realtor community specifically, but just overall the private property rights of the public. And of course too, whenever there's things of a political nature that could affect the realtoring profession, which is a word I think I made up, I like to use a lot, but the realtoring profession, if there's things that are encroaching on that are putting realtors at a strategic disadvantage, there's a lot of political work through RPAC that is really important. So, of course, aside from the politics, the association does a ton of work with educational events. We want to make sure that the professional standard of the realtors is kept high. We do a lot of classes at our local association just on etiquette at the most basic of levels, just to make sure that realtors know whenever they're showing somebody's house that it is actually their home. And so when you're in somebody's house, make sure that you leave a business card to let them know that somebody was there. Make sure that, you turn off the lights that you've turned on. Make sure that you lock all the doors and check that, we even like to go around and check that, if the buyers themselves, if they walked out a sliding glass door or something, we go back behind them and just make sure that the house is properly secured and locked up. So it's just basic common courtesy things. Leave good feedback. So I'm sure most of you definitely appreciate, as an association, if you've ever had any unfortunate experiences like that, where a seller of one of your listings was a little bit upset by somebody's, by the way they left the house or something. I think that just professional standards is one of the big things that the association does. The other thing that the association does is they're also a public outlet, or venue rather, that if a public feels like they're having a bad experience with a realtor, that member of the public can report that to the association. And of course, there's ethics hearings that we facilitate at the association. At our local association, we actually last year we actually created what's called an ombudsman process that hopefully is able to kind of facilitate complaints and do some fact finding before it becomes a formal hearing process for a whole for the whole ethics hearing. And so there's a lot of work that we do just to be a resource that's there for the public, to make sure that the transactions are properly facilitated, to keep the perception of the realtor profession high. So those are just a few of the things that I did want to make sure that we understand what the association actually does. And we also try our best as an association to keep a high profile in the community. We do a lot of volunteer work. We do a lot for the Habitat of Humanity, for Habitat, where, we get involved in actually physically building homes, that sort of thing. So just a lot of stuff that we do. And, overall, again, it's been a very rewarding experience for me to get involved and create some really, really great relationships for people. So it's definitely more than just, spending your time places where you might find a new customer to buy or sell a house. I think that, it might be tough early in your career to justify giving back if you don't feel like you understand fully what the value proposition is yet. But I do feel like if you're in a place that you have a little bit of extra time and you're interested in seeing what the work that the association does, that it does start to benefit you professionally, right away. And of course that's not, can't be the main decision maker, that you're looking for a personal gain or personal benefit. I mean, I think that the intent to start out needs to be to serve. But as you serve your fellow members in the association and you get involved in your association, I think that you definitely do start to get some professional benefits from that as well. So just wanted to give you a little bit of time to, maybe think that process through and understand a little bit better what's going on at your local association. And of course, if you have any questions of any sort, I'm happy to go over any of those questions with you right now, or after the fact, if you call, email, text, anything that you're thinking at any time. How's it looking there, Tori? Do we got any questions by chance?
Let me check. It does not look like we have any questions at the moment, but you guys do know how to get a hold of Robert if any questions come up in the future. So with that said, thank you so much everyone for joining us for another great Florida Broker Roundtable. A very special thank you to Robert for putting together such a great presentation as always. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.